fund called the American League. And they decided to get together to have a championship series. We were in the first World Series. The first World Series game was in Boston. Here's the Boston team. You know, today they're known as the Red Sox. Back then they were the Americans. We're the Pirates. We're in the back row. Now, really all these guys, who names, I know this guy up here, though, this big guy, was the legendary Honus Wagner, one of the greatest players of all time. He was one of the first guys inducted into the Hall of Fame. And we won the first World Series game, but Boston was really good. It was a 9-game series. We won 3 games, they won 5. But we were there for that first World Series. It was his idea. And then in 1920, here comes radio. That was a newfangled idea. He had a great idea. Let's broadcast our games. The other owner said, Barney, you're crazy. You broadcast the games, people will stay home and listen to them. No one will come to the ballpark. Just the opposite happened. People heard the games, they heard the excitement, they wanted to be a part of it. In late 20s, baseball boomed. Pretty soon, all the teams were broadcasting their games. First game was broadcast here, KDKA, the big radio station in Pittsburgh, back in August 1921. 1960, here's the date. I was a little bit older than you guys then. In fact, I was a lot older. I was in 9th grade. But at 3:36 in the afternoon of April 13th, 1960, this is probably the greatest sporting event to happen in Pittsburgh. Number 9, Bill Mazeroski. The game is tied 9-9. It's last of the 9th inning. Ralph Terry's the pitcher. The second pitch, there's the ball, heading out over the left field wall at legendary, this is Forbes Field in Pittsburgh. And the Pirates win the game 10-9. That is the first and last walk-off home run to win a World Series in the 9th inning. So, I mean, something we're very proud of in Pittsburgh. Moving ahead to 1971, all the games are played at night now. The first night game in the World Series was in Pittsburgh. This guy here is Danny Murtaugh, one of our famous managers. His number is retired. He was also the manager of this team. So he won the World Series in 60, 11 years later in 71. Bruce Keeson was the pitcher who won that game, one of our great pitchers. Where you came in, maybe you didn't see it, I don't know how you missed it, but the Stargell statue, that Stargell gate. Here's Willie, this is 1979. He was the MVP of the World Series, holding the World Series trophy. We called him Pops, because he was one of the older players on the team. All the younger players respected him. They called him Pops. He used to give out stars to the other players when they did something well. The great Roberto Clemente. The hands, look at the hands, are huge. That ball looks like a little tennis ball. This is his 3,000th hit. Very few people, no one knew at that time it would be his last base hit. A couple of months later, there was an earthquake in Nicaragua, so he was such a great humanitarian, he gathered all these supplies to take to Nicaragua. The plane never made it, crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and on December 31st, 1972, Roberto passed away in that plane wreck. But he'll never die in Pittsburgh because we have so many things that we honor the great Roberto Clemente. Our former ballpark is Three Rivers. It's now the parking lot between Hines and here. Okay, this is our 4th ballpark. This is our 5th one we were in. The other 3 ballparks, Recreation was down the street, Exposition was by the river, Forbes Field, where this game was played, was called Shenley Farms at the time. The University of Pittsburgh's up there now. So this is our 5th ballpark we've been in. 1971, Danny Murtaugh again. Today, you know, you get to see the best players in the world. This was the first time an all-minority lineup took place. And Murtaugh was asked by a reporter, hey, you know what? You have all, like, black guys and Hispanics there. Yeah, so what? I just put the 9 best guys that I thought could win a game. I mean, that wouldn't even be questioned today. You know, but back then in 1971, people, wow. So, first minority lineup. And then a game that I was at, we were first, you know, they have that video replay. I'm sure you guys will watch the games. We could challenge plays. On May 6, 2014, Starling Marte hits a triple. The ball's overthrown. He heads home. He's tagged by Buster Posey. The umpire calls him out. Wait a minute. Video replay. We challenged the play. It's quite obvious that before Buster Posey tagged Marte, his hand touched the plate. The play's overruled. Instead of going to extra innings, the Buccos win 2-1 against the Giants. And that was the first time a team was able to win a game using video replay. So again, some of the firsts that we have in Pittsburgh, and we're really proud of that. You know, we're not a big market. We're not a big city. Now, Forbes Field. This is the locker in Forbes Field. There's Bill Mazeroski's World Series rings there, different uniform. Number 9, there's Maz's game-worn uniform. A lot of memorabilia there. This is the locker from Three Rivers, that place over there. Notice it's a little bit bigger. And there's number 8, there's Willie Stargell's jersey. Jim Leland was one of our managers, great managers in the early 90s. His jersey's there. A lot of signed baseballs, a lot of memorabilia. Now, in a few minutes, Terry's going to take us into the clubhouse itself. And this is what those lockers look like there. Wow. The steel plate, you'll see the names will be on the steel plate. Their numbers will be up there. Do we need that?
No, you don't, but I just.
Oh, you don't need it. Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry, thank you.
No problem, sweetie. And of course here they have a little safe up there for their bling. So all the different uniforms. Here's a McCutcheon jersey here, different memorabilia. You notice it's behind glass, locked. You have thousands of dollars of sports memorabilia there. I guess that's one reason why we don't open this up during the game. You have to come on a tour to see this stuff. And then speaking of something that's worth thousands of dollars, in 1969 this jersey was worn by the great Roberto Clemente. This was donated by his wife Vera, appraised at over $50,000 for a baseball jersey. But you know what, gang? There's a lot of collectors out there that would love to have this jersey. But this belongs to the entire family. We have it behind glass. It's on the wall. Terry and I have been trying to figure out a way that we can get out of here, but we haven't been lucky so far.
So you're gonna steal it and sell
No, we can't do that. Hey, gang, so yeah, right now, I told you quite a bit. So somewhere along the line, I may ask a question about one of these things I told you, okay? So hopefully some of you were listening. Terry is going to take us into that service tunnel, and we're going to head down there. That's where we have to be careful, and adults will need your help. Terry will be in the front. No one gets ahead of Terry. I'll be in the back. People stay in front of me, okay? And then we'll be heading down there toward the clubhouse area. Terry?
One more thing.
Go ahead.
There are people working and there are machines that are
Everywhere.
moving and things going on. One, you have to be quiet so that you can listen. And 2, you have to pay attention. Because the adults will be there to help guide you, but you have to pay attention to what's going on around you and your surroundings,
And
okay?
maybe not walking with your iPad and cell phone
No.
in front of you. You just put it down to your side so when you arrive at a location, then there'll be an opportunity to take pictures and videos.
Right.
Yeah, enjoy the moments here.
Yeah, you don't walk around with your cell phone.
Okay, one other thing, boys and girls, about taking pictures.